Well, today we're joined by Sister Agnes Mariam of the Cross. Now, she's founded a Christian community and a monastery in Damascus. She's been living there and working there for the last 12 years. Thank you very much, Sister, for joining us today. Well, my first question is, you've been there for 12 years working in Damascus, in Syria, around different areas. Has there been a difference in your work throughout those years and in the recent months that we've seen uprisings and violence?
Of course, we have been facing a reality evolving to get more and more tragical, dramatic. You know, it's a real descent to hell. So for us, it was new because we work in Syria for the restoration of this monastery since 1994. And we could really appreciate the security in Syria. You know, it's a security, of course, which is imposed somehow by a regime which is very strong and sometimes a kind of totalitarian. But nevertheless, the reality is that everybody was living in security. Now, when the events begin to raise, we were very happy because we also felt that there is a need for a change. But very quickly, we got bad news from local witnesses in our dioceses, in Homs, and also from Damascus, in Dar'a, where what those witnesses, civilians, without any political position, you know, they were counting us, telling us stories that were exactly the contrary of what we were seeing on the television. So we took position for the objective truth, the real information, and also for solidarity, because slowly by slowly you had to help opposition where you had hundreds of people detained.
So you were also helping the opposition?
Yes, it's what we call the interior opposition, the civilian opposition, which is not under any party and not armed. No, not armed. You have always, until today, peaceful demonstrations. Okay, so we helped in our village to set free people. Also, if there is a need of humanitarian help, even we had the opposition meeting in our monastery, and the first appeal for dialogue and reconciliation was in our monastery.
Now, I'm sure you're very well aware of all the criticism that has been thrown your way. So what is your relationship with the Assad regime?
You know, I have no relationship with a regime. We are a religious entity and our authority is religious. It's not political, it's not even civilian, you know. We had mainstream reporters that came to Syria, and for a while I went with them on the scene, you know. But in January, in December, I asked to go to the opposition parts, where the guerrilla were already implemented. Okay, and so I could have an idea as an eyewitness. And in the beginning, we did not even know who were those people. And we said that those people, there were unidentified armed gangs, you know. We said we don't know whom they are, but they are spreading chaos, disorder, killings, abducting, and many kind, you know, of methods to destabilize a country, and also to implement a kind of preparation for a civil war. For example, they would kill very targeted, for example, they will kill Alawite. I have seen in Homs a flock of blood, because in the day before, people, you know, those unidentified gangs have been beheading 9 Alawite people just because they were Alawite. I have seen this with my eyes, and I talked to the population, the Sunni population. Whom do you think has perpetrated this? They didn't know. They said they were wearing like soldiers. But do you think that it's the loyal soldier? What do you want me to do? I cannot shut up. If nobody is reporting this, I feel that if I know it and I do not report it, I am helping criminals to continue their way. And after, even a Human Rights Watch began to talk about things perpetrated by insurrection, armed insurrection, affiliated, saying that it is affiliated to the opposition, that were doing things against humanity. And this is an improvement.
But we're talking now about the Syrians in general. Do they want a regime change?
Look, I think that yes, and that the regime has fallen. There is no more this regime. You will never ever have the same regime onward. Now, the Christian, they have been discriminated not because they are Christian, but because being Christian, they could not participate in Islamist demonstrations, okay? And sometimes it arrived to violences against them, heavy violences. You know, we had more than 200,000 Christians that had to flee out because of this ambiguous position. We have to here to discern between exterior opposition. You know, in some of the leaders of the opposition outside of Syria, they never came back to Syria since 30 years. So they don't have a popular ground, okay? They want to come, to be able to come, but with the help of foreign intervention, military influence. But you have the interior opposition who doesn't want this kind of foreign intervention. They want changes, but without violence and without destroying everything.
When we're talking about a solution, a third way, as you mentioned earlier, in this conflict, how is that going to happen given that there are a lot of guns on the street? How is the solution to work, and what exactly can be done?
There is a big violence, you know, but it's not everywhere in Syria. The violence resides nearby the borders and is following a special plan. But in the inner country, you have large pieces of people, of ground, of lands, which is not under violence. And also, even in the cities where you have violence, they have so much tasted what would be a kind, you know, of a country like in Iraq, completely destroyed, that many of the opposition begin to think and to say it's not the way, the violence is not the way. So since 1 year, we have been, more than 1,000 people have been invited to Sahara, tourist complex, to think about a third way. And this third way, the name of this third way is Musalaha Initiative. The Musalaha Initiative does not come from the opposition, does not come from the regime. It comes from the silent majority of the Syrian people, from the leaders of families, of tribes, of clans, and also from religious leaders. They meet together, and they were very active when there were challenges that nobody could solutionate but them. For example, in Homs, you had many families completely trapped in streets. They were controlled by the opposition. but the army was going to bomb them. And so they were under high danger. They were trapped for 1 month. Nobody would know how to do it. So Musalaha intervened, you know. The notables, they have their cousins inside the opposition, for example. And religious leaders, they have their own people, believers in those streets. So they made negotiation secretly. And slowly by slowly, everybody could go out.
Well, there are also other Christian or Catholic figures, aside from yourself, who are also making comments on the Syrian conflict. And there are some of them who don't agree with you, who say that the Syrians need outside help, they need intervention, yet you're both all from the same community. What do you say to this, and what do you think of this?
I want to say that the Syrian people has to define by itself, with itself, what they want. And my claim is that let the Syrian people alone, and the majority of the Syrian people, they want change, but the change would be in peace, in dialogue, in reconciliation. I hope that the social tissue in Syria is so strong that they are doing a new social pact on new basis, without the, if you want, the ideology of a party, a political party, and it will be stronger, it will be better, and it is open to a new future full of, you know, more contemporaneous achievement. And I hope with the blessing of the Patriarch Kyrillos, I respect and I give him all my salutation as a believer.
Well, Sister Agnes Mariam, thank you very much for your time.